guys, we're going to try this again. Okay, my Wi-Fi like totally knocked out last time. So holler if you can see or if it's coming through. We're here on Prima's page, and we're going to be exploring a couple fun products today. All right. Okay, I think it's going this time. Hopefully my Wi-Fi will stay steady. It cut out for a second last. I just tried to get on and. All right, so we may have a moderator today. Let me know if Carrie is in the house. Welcome everyone to Facebook Live. This is Sharon. I'm here with Prima, and we are going to be exploring some really fun products. You know, probably in ways that hopefully you'll have some new ideas. Hey Vero, Liliana. Oh good, so we're live and it's going. Great. Sometimes you know, Facebook Live's done on Wi-Fi, so you're always just held hostage if your Wi-Fi's not working. Okay. All right, so welcome to everyone. Our Facebook Lives are on Tuesdays, and usually around this same time, and we record all of them. So if you go into our video section, you'll find them. Oh, good. Carrie is here moderating. If you have questions and I don't catch what you're saying, she will try to answer them. She knows these products really well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this is actually a pretty simple tag. And I'm going to show you just a couple steps. We may not do everything from start to finish, but give you some tips and techniques for using some stamps and some of our color bloom sprays. And I also have a bonus project that kind of takes the techniques we use here and steps it up a notch if you want to go even, you know, a little more advanced or just a different way to use them. So these use our brand new Christine Adolph stamps, and I'm going to pull out all the products in a second. And you know what, if you're a retailer, we're going to have this put into a format for you as a make and take, and then you can just go ahead and, you know, do this in your store. We want to help you out. So I tried to keep it to a minimum of products and then just show fun ways to use them. So this is the actual make and take tag. We're going to use those color bloom sprays. But then I went and did a bonus project. And this one is just a little more complicated. I still use those same techniques with the stamps, but I cut them out, popped them up a bit, and then added a paintable on the back with a little bit of crackle medium. And then, you know, just added a couple more mixed media elements just to make the level a little bit higher than the other tags. So these are the two side by side. They're kind of sister tags. So what we're going to do is just go through this one, and then I'll post this one online and tell you what other products I used. Okay? Well, let's get going. So you guys know about Christine Adolph stamps. If you haven't, oh my goodness. Let's get those out. Carrie, does everything look okay? Like, is my orientation correct this time? I'm going to see what she says, because last time you know how your phones will flip from side to side? It flipped on me, and I didn't know it. So, anyway, so these are the main items we're going to use. Now she's laughing at me. Okay, I'm not going to touch my phone so it stays there. So Christine came out with these amazing stamps, and what I like about them is that they're outlined so they can be colored, right? I'm going to use Poppy Field, and I'll try to show the numbers if my camera focuses, 971717. This is the one I'm going to use today, but let me just show you. It's always fun to show a couple other peeks, right? Look at this one, Florabella. I just think these are so fun to stamp in art journals or on cards. You can see the number for Florabella there. Or to stamp and emboss or stamp and cut out. Here's another one. This one's a border. It's a daisy frame. This is super cute. How cute is that? Perfect size for a card, and then you can color it. Coloring is huge, and we're really trying to promote it this month. We have a special Color with Prima promo going on, and if you just look up that hashtag, you'll find different projects and things we're going to do. So this is the other one I have. It's called Tossed Floral. This one's a little well loved. I love stamping this, coloring, and then cutting these out. And yeah, you need to put some flowers on the edges of your cards and tags, so that these are perfect for that, the ones on the side. How cute is that? Okay, so those are the variety of stamps that I have. And what I'm going to do is, you know, I always go longer than I think I'm going to, but I basically want to just show you, you know, like they do the cooking shows, pull out all your stuff and then pretend you actually did it. Okay, so I'm using a watercolor paper pad. There are 24 sheets in here, 847715, and I love it because it's really thick watercolor paper and it's textured. So I don't know if you can catch the texture. Sometimes my the light facing me is too strong and everything looks really white. But when you're stamping on textured paper, sometimes the fine details are hitting the little nubby areas. So I have a little tip. This is what I do, if I can find my scissors. I take the smoothest side, and then I actually take my scissors and just rub it down a little bit. It's still gonna show like a linen texture, but it won't be so nubby feeling. It will be a bit smoother, and the details will show better. You can also just run it through your Sizzix without any dyes, and it will flatten it out so you get a smoother surface. Okay, I rubbed this one a bit too hard. I took off some paper fibers, but now it's very smooth. So all I would do then is take my stamp, take your embossing ink. Embossing ink is just clear, juicy ink that is sticky, and it works really well. You stamp it on there. I might just do this really quickly, but not do the heat part, because I think it kind of looks like magic when you do this. You want a juicy pad. Mine is not the newest, but it worked really well, so I'm going to go with it. Juice it up. Oops, put that on correctly. And now this is just a little tip for people who emboss and stamp a lot. I call this my magical pillow. It's just a little tool that you can buy, and what it does is it kind of decreases the static on your paper. Carrie has one so she can answer questions. And then when you go to put your embossing powder on, it supposedly is only going to stick where the embossing ink is, not on the rest of the paper. It decreases the static. Let's see if we can get this to work. I'm just going to put some paper towel down. I know it's really white. A lot of white on white. I have a stamping block. Let's go ahead and use that. I meant to have that attached, but you know, it's a cling stamp, so it sticks well to Prima stamp block. You really want that juicy ink to sink into that watercolor paper, so I'm going to hold it on just a bit longer than you would if you were stamping with, say, a permanent ink. Okay? And you know, I've done this like 6 times now. I haven't had a single issue. But it's always when you go live that something doesn't work. So we're just going to see how this goes. So I have distress powder. Now this is just embossing powder. You could get clear, white. These are a little bit different in that they're not going to give you a perfect detailed line. They're going to give you a distressed line. And I'll explain that as I'm shaking this on. There's little crystals in here. So when you go to emboss, they don't melt, they just stay there. And then when your tag is done with the heat gun, see how that's magically sticking there? When your tag is done with the heat gun, you rub it, and those little distress crystals kind of rub off so you don't get a perfect look. All right, so normally on flat a flat surface, you wouldn't get any extra little crystals of embossing powder. But I found on the watercolor paper, you get a couple even if you use that little magic pillow. So I just take a fine brush and make sure my lines are nice and clean. Again, we're doing a distressed wildflower. I don't think it matters if some of the little flakes are where they're not supposed to be. But I did this without that little pillow, and I had the embossing crystals everywhere. So this does help. Okay, so there I go. I have it embossed. At this point, you would just heat it and melt it. Okay? I'm going to just set that aside because we're going to be like a cooking show today and pop the ready one out of the oven. Let's hope I don't trip over that later and kick embossing stuff all over my floor. Okay, so here we go. Ta-da, it's already done. It's ready to watercolor. I rubbed the crystals off so you can see it's not perfect, and it has kind of a matte finish, which is also unique to the distress powder. The other embossing powders, I think, are pretty glossy. Okay, so now we're just going to get into the fun. We got this stamped and we want to color. So I thought I would pull out the ones I did for my original tag right here. I have, these are Color Bloom 2 sprays, so they're a little bit different than our original. Let me show you the original and our Color Bloom 2. We changed the nozzles, and we also changed how they're packaged. So when you order a Color Bloom 2, you're going to get it powdered. It's dry. There's no liquid in there. It's so easy. You just open it up and fill it with tap water up to about here and shake it up. We get a lot of questions of what kind of water, how much do you dump any of the powder out? No, leave it all in, fill it with tap water, shake it up, and it's good to go. Okay? It's just lighter to ship with the powder and no water, and it won't spill. So it's great for that reason. All right, so I've already mixed up. I have pot marigold, golden walnut, and golden oregano. These are very dusty fall kind of colors, but we're kind of going with that wildflower look, and I think that works best. So you want to shake it up. So see that little mica right there? We want to get that mixed up. There's a little bead in each one. You'll hear that? You know what? You do not have to stir and not shake these. I have only had one nozzle clogged, and it came that way. So I've never treated these extra special. But if you do get one that's clogged, we sell extra sprays. Or a tip for me is I save my sprays when I'm totally done with the bottles, and then just reuse it. Clean it out and reuse it. Okay. And one other thing, did I tell you we put a ton of color in these? So if it gets down to about here, you can fill it back up with water. It's going to be a little bit lighter, but you get at least 2 bottles out of these. And don't tell anyone I told you, but I mark mine when I refill them. This one has been filled twice, and I'm actually down at the bottom, and I'm still getting great color out of it. It's really well loved. And I kind of like having a different color palette with the second filling. It's a little bit lighter, and I think it opens up so you get a lot more options. So that's really cool, right? So don't toss them once they go empty. Mark them and refill them. Now, you know you can spray these to color. Well, this is what I like to do, so I can also watercolor with them. I get a little palette, and I spray them in the little wells there. And then since I shook it up, you're going to have the glimmer in there as well. And then I get a Prima watercolor pen. Now these are available in 2-packs and 3-packs. I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys, but I want you to see visually what we are using. So the only difference is the 3-pack has a wider tip. Let me grab one of those. You're going to get one with a tip like this. Can you see that? Much fatter for coloring books and bigger surfaces. So you get a skinny, a medium, and a wide in the 3-pack. And the 2-pack, I love it because it has a very thin one and then a medium. Okay, so 2 different options with the watercolor pens. And you just unscrew these when you get them and fill them with water. And they're squeezable. So you control the water by squeezing. See that? I love it. It's the only way I color now. So we're going to go in here. I have watercolor paper, and you can prep it by just getting it wet if you want. There's different ways to watercolor, of course, and I am not an expert. And then I could pick up a little bit of the orange. See that? And I may think that's too dark and I want to dilute it a little. So what I can do is squeeze a little bit of water so my brush is wet on the tips and bring it out. Another idea is to take a little piece of paper towel and dab up like that. Remove what you don't like. See how I just went from really dark to much lighter? So prep the surface if you want by squeezing a little bit of water out of here and then grabbing some of your color bloom spray and letting it kind of soak its way over with the water. I went out of the lines. That doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, stay in the lines. I can never stay in. I'm really bad at that. So for this, I'm using the leftover that's on my brush. I wet it all. I'm going to grab a little bit and kind of focus on the center and draw out just a bit here. It's all watercolor paper, so it's good. It's not going to warp or buckle or tear. And then you're just going to build up the color as you want. Get it a little bit darker in the centers. That's kind of what I'm going for here. We'll see if it works on camera. And look, I forgot this little flower down here. And I have a lot of orange on my brush right now. So I'm just going to dab some of that off. All right, now how fast was that? Really fast. You guys can do this, right? And you probably would do your colors differently than me. What I would suggest is I want to go back in and layer some of the brown, but I need this to dry first. So I'm going to go in and paint some of the leaves, but I could also just zap it with a heat gun. If I don't, my colors are going to blend because it is watercolor activated, and it will kind of muddy a little bit. Sometimes that's fine, but I don't want my orange to be muddied too much, so I want that to dry. Now, these leaves are way too green for me. Do you guys like it though? So I'm going to go in and grab some of that brown and randomly just bring it in here. And it will just tone down that brighter green. See that? It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm moving really quickly. There we go. And again, if it's too dark, use your magical paper towel. Dab off some of the color. I kind of like doing that anyway, so you get more of a kind of a distressed random look. And look, see, I went way out of the lines here. I'm blending that in, picking it up, and kind of going back and redoing that a little. It all works out in the end. So what do you think so far? I'm going to zap this real quickly. That's great. Seriously, 15-20 seconds, all you need. And now what I want to do is I want to go in with this brown. It's really dark. So you could totally dilute it in your paint palette. That's not really showing up. I'm going to keep adding brown till it starts to show up a bit. What I want is a brownish center. This flower is closed, so we'll just keep that down at that tip. That one's a little lighter, and this one again at the tip too. And again, you want to keep layering and just adding little details until you're happy with it. We're going to call this done. What do you think? You know, I missed parts like of the flower here, but I think that's okay. I don't want it perfect. I kind of want it to look a bit distressed. And now what I'm going to do is pick up some of that color, and I'm going to add little splotches. So I'm going to tap my water brush and then get those splotches on there. And you know, again, if you overlap the colors, they can get muddy. So zap it just a little bit with a heat gun or let it air dry. To kind of keep your colors true. Now I'm going to do that with the brown. And again, if you don't like it really dark, dilute it a little bit before you go in here. Whoa, I got a lot right there. And I don't want that. So my little trick is always to dab that up. See where it magically disappeared. So I did want a couple. I just didn't want that many in one spot. So there, we got a lot of different splatters, and again, you can clean your brush by just squeezing some water out. I tend to not clean as much and letting the colors kind of work together. And I feel like I have too many little splashes on here, so I'm just going to dab a bit. It will lift up some of them and lighten it. And look at that. So I could totally leave it like this. I could go in and just kind of paint some of the background, which I like to do, and I like to do it kind of messy and random. All I did was pick up a tiny little bit of the diluted green, came in here and squeezed that on. I may do a little bit of the diluted brown up at the top for a different look. And there you go. You didn't even have to stain the lines. It's totally done. And you can do that step before you do the splashes or after. And then you can add more splashes if you want, if it colored some. And there you got a really true wildflower kind of watercolor look. And that's it. That is totally done. So what we can do then is I want to finish the tag. So where's my original? I need to find it. And then I want to show you, though, how you can do a different color palette and make these all work for you. So you could teach this or do this as a make and take or make a bunch of them at once and just put out different color bloom sprays and you'll get a totally different look. So let's let that dry and hopefully we'll get back to it. I embossed a different one. So this one was one of the different designs and I did it with green embossing. And what I did is I picked out a pack of flowers. So we have these cute little flower boxes, and this is 590420. And what I did is I picked color bloom sprays to match that. So I picked out Fairy Pond and Dragonfly Blue. Let's see, Pink Crocus, Sugar Plum. I know I did pick out a lot because I love the colors in here. And then I went into the original color blooms and got Soft Teal. And that one I filled already twice. See my marks? So it's really light. I have Cobalt, which is an amazing color. And then Iris. So you can see these colors match perfectly. And what I've already squirted some into my palette. I started with, well, we're going to shake these up. So have a little patience with the shaking sound. So I'm just going to go in order of how I had these. Fairy Pond. We're squirting just a little bit in each one, hopefully catching a bit of that glimmer. And then let me show you how cool this looks. Okay, Sugar Plum's next. I had already done this once, so there's a little bit dried in the palette. This is Cobalt. It's amazing. And that's one of the originals. And Iris is one of the originals too. I don't even know if I sprayed that one yet. We'll get a little bit there. I've probably filled that one up too. So look at my beautiful palette. And it matches these flowers perfectly. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to pull out some flowers you like and then go find your color bloom sprays that match. And I want to show you on a piece of paper. Let's just take this one. So this is what I would do, is get my water brush and go from maybe light to dark, whatever order you want to do. And I'm going to clean it real quick by squeezing some water out. Pick this up. So this one was soft teal, but it's been refilled a couple times. So it's a bit lighter than the original. And then, okay, I should have written the colors down. Let's blend it in with this one. I don't remember now which one. Fairy Pond. Okay. And now we're going to Dragonfly. Oh, look how gorgeous that looks. Do you guys love that? If you're going to do a beachy theme, you need these colors right here. Okay, so we did Dragonfly, and then we did, what are we moving into next? I'm thinking it was Pink Crocus or Sugar Plum. I may have messed those two up. But look how they blend together. I think it's beautiful. Look at this. Okay, I'm just going to sit here all day and just color like this. I told you that cobalt, gorgeous. And then you can drag it out with a bit of water and look how deep the color is and how intense, down to that beautiful color. And then, of course, I brought a little iris in, and this one's been filled twice, but it's very light. And sometimes you want those really light tones. So what do you think? Does this match the flowers or what? Perfect. So then we can just go in and color our flowers. Any color we want. Oh, this is where I need you guys' help. Oh, I don't even know which ones I want to start with. The colors are so pretty. But I would do a little swatch so you kind of knew how the colors looked. Okay, I'm going for this one. I just got to get in here. And I don't think I want to color the whole thing. I think I want to just do parts, and then so I can blend some of these together. Maybe, if it works. So they're not perfect. Just one tone. We're going to make these blended colors and see what happens. And this one, I think I'll just use whatever's left on my brush. And then grab maybe a little bit. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to have so much fun with this. So I don't think that was blending. It was kind of covering up the center. So I'm going to blot a little bit out until I get the color I want. Oh, very soft and delicate. But there you go. So you want to go in here, color away, blend away, dab what you need to, and get a totally different look. So same stamps, same technique, just different color bloom sprays. Oh my gosh, love this palette. I just think it's so fun. I think you could do so much with these colors. And I want to get a little bit of that cobalt. Oh, maybe a little. That's one I would water down a bit, especially if you're going to do flowers, unless you really like that bright look. And that's a good one to do splashes with. All right, I'm totally missing the mint so far. So we're going to get that one up here. I'm being messy, I know. That's okay. And then I want to pull in, you know, that really soft purple. But I think, you know, I'm just playing. I haven't played with this yet. I'm just doing it as I go. We're just going to have fun. I need a little purple in here, don't I? So let's get some purple going. Oh, these were little flowers right here on the design. Oh, I just love this palette. Love how pretty it is when everything kind of blends together. Okay, I'm out of that purple. We'll move over to this one. Oh, that was a leaf. And you know, I'm famous for doing that, not paying attention to what I'm coloring. But that's okay. So I'm going to go in here, just add little swipes back and forth. And then I think I'm going to make sure I got every little thing kind of colored. And then I'm going to do the background. And what I would suggest for that is using a bit of water. Blending it all together like this. And then maybe picking up a different color for the bottom. Maybe a purple. And they'll meet in the middle somewhere, and they'll blend together. And again, if you don't like it, if it's too dark, you didn't like how it looked, you can go in there and dab away. I think there's too much blue on this background, so what I'm going to do is bring in a little bit of purple just around it to kind of set it off a bit. And just blend that in with the background. I got a lot of blue and purple happening. All right. Okay, so my son's telling me, Carrie called. Hold it up and do what? Oh, the shimmer. Okay, well that would be better on a dried one. Now watercolor paper does soak in a lot of the color. It's a little bit different than when you watercolor on like the coloring books. Okay, but you will get shimmer if you shook it up really well. Okay, and I'm not sure you're catching it on here or not. Sorry, Carrie, I didn't catch that. So I told Carrie, call me if you need me, but not on my cell phone, and my boys are downstairs. They'll answer the phone, they'll come up and harass me. So I don't think you'll see as much shimmer on some papers. Just keep that in mind. It all depends on how well you shook it up and what kind of paper you're using. So I'm going to try and get some of these darker splotches in here because I think, oh, I like that. And I might just bring this blue in a bit on certain parts just to kind of get a little bit of contrast in there. And then I'm going to blend that in again. But you would just sit and play until you were happy with it. And see, it's kind of spreading already because it's wet. I'm going to dab a little bit of that off. And then, anyway, if you mess up, spray some or squeeze some water out and then dab it. And you'll be good to go. You can do, okay, just pretend I messed up. It's okay. You can dab that up. It's going to pull up some of the color underneath too, so keep that in mind. I probably shouldn't have done all of that at once, and I think I need some more purple. All right, so you get the idea how you can take these stamps into two different totally color palettes that are, you know, cools or warms. And, you know, it's not dry yet, so you can't really see the shimmer as much as you can on this one. I can catch it. I'm just not sure the camera's picking it up. All right. I hope you guys can see that, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do, that was just another example of how you can pull out colors like from a different color palette, find your sprays that match, and use your stamp multiple times and get totally different looks. And I just leave this on my color palette. It will dry, and then you reactivate it with your water brush. So that's really cool. So I need to zap this, dry it totally. Okay, see if anyone has any other questions. Sorry I missed that, Carrie. It's drying and it's curling a little. So this is a little tip somebody taught me, was to also put heat on the back, and it flattens it back out. I think that's good. So we can decorate it really quickly. Now, I trimmed off the top part, so we're going to do that. And you know what? I haven't used my pinking shears in a long time, and I feel like I need to. Carrie's going to laugh. She thinks I use these on every project. But they're cute. And I'm going to do it on the bottom, too. I just want my tag a little bit smaller because the flowers don't go all the way up, so this one makes it a bit better. You like that? Look at that, Carrie. Pinking shears. Okay, and I did distress a little bit more in the edges of this, and I'll do that probably at the end once I get everything in place. Now, we had talked about using the Color Bloom as a spray. Well, I have this ribbon right here, and I probably should have done this earlier, but we can hustle it. We're going to take apart and just get some paper towel. Or grab a big piece and just spray the ribbon. And I like that you can take any color ribbon you have and just spray it and make it any color you want. So it's really bright green, and then I'm adding a bit of the walnut. And normally what I would do is take this and crinkle it with my hands. Make sure it's all covered. There are some pieces that aren't, but usually when you squeeze it together like this, they soak into each other. Crinkle it up if you like that little, I don't know what you call it, kind of a distressed ribbon like that. If you like it smoother, don't do that. And normally you would let that air dry. So if it's not dry by the time we are ready to put it on, we'll just zap it a little bit and it'll be good to go. So you can color seam binding and other ribbons to match your project, because I didn't have the right color, so I went and did that. Okay, so we got that going. So all we're going to do now is we need to punch a hole at the top. This is a really simple make and take, or a really simple project. You can make these and put them on gift tags and maybe stamp on the back to and from. So we're going to pull out some flowers. I used one of those box flowers like this, but it was a totally different color palette, and I've already taken a ton of the flowers out. So we're going to play with what we have left. Let me see what I have. I also pulled out some of the metals. These are mechanicals, and I'm kind of bumping the camera a bit, sorry. And I did a die cut butterfly. These are just, you know, I don't know if you guys keep elements in a little dish. I keep just all my extras, and then I pull from there and make things. I'm going to cut these off real quick. They go flying when you snap them. These are the cutest little wildflowers. You know, I love the purple in here. I'm not sure it would go so well, but I think I could color them if I really wanted them. So we're going to put a bow here. One of our metal pieces. What do you think? Lucky or Create? I kind of like that. We'll do Lucky. It really stands out. I want it to pop up, so I'm just going to stick a bit of foam on the back, and that will help pop it up so it's not sitting on top of, just flat on the page. All right, so what I do is I'm just going to try and place stuff. Oh, I need some twine. Just random twine. And I'm going to kind of, you see the holes on the metal? I'm just going to connect them with the twine. And just kind of loop this through like this. And then maybe tie it in the back. And we can bring this around the tag like that. Okay? So cut enough so you can tie it in the back. Just kind of setting the stage here. I do need my ribbon dry. I meant to do that right away in the beginning. And of course, I got all sidetracked stamping and coloring. But it dries pretty quickly. There we go. So here we go. It's all crinkled ribbon. We're going to just tie a cute little bow and get that on there. How are you guys doing? Oh, I see. See, it wouldn't be a Sharon project without the pinking shears. Sometimes I like purposely don't use them just so Carrie can say that. I stink at tying bows, but I don't do the knot, so there's less bulk. But I think that'll work. So we have, let me pull that a little bit. So we're going to have our bow there, and we can trim the edges, of course, and let's glue that down, and then we can start arranging flowers. And again, you're going to use the products you have on hand. Put a little bow there, and I think I want to put the metal on next so that I have a good idea where I want to put my flowers. I think I should have tied this on. We'll see. Sometimes my plans are backwards. You ever do that? So I know that has sticky foam, but I like putting a little bit of Fabri-Tac on just to make sure it's really gonna stick. So this is gonna go here. We're just gonna kind of let that sit right now and pull the twine underneath the bow. And I'll just glue that to the back later. We'll pretend that's already done. And then we want to just arrange some flowers. I might pull up this big one. I think that looks really cute right there. It has a stem I cut off, so I'm just twirling that under. I'm going to throw a little bit of glue on here. And I may go back and add just a touch of color to this. I think it's a bit too light. So I got my water brush. And I'm going to grab a little bit of that brown and barely like catch the tips of the petals. And it's going to, it was just too clean before. This is going to make it look a little rustic. How cute is that? There we go. So yeah, you can totally color your flowers, as you can tell. Maybe I should use the brown one. That's almost too big. Okay. Same with this one. I'm going to try and tuck this little squirt in here. So a little bit of glue on the stem, and we'll have that coming out. And I really want to darken that one because it's way too light. And I think I need a little flower up here. So all I'm doing is putting a little squirt of glue right on the tip of the wire and kind of wrapping it around. You use whatever glue you like. I do like Fabri-Tac for flowers though, and ribbon. I think it holds really well. We don't want these in there perfect. They are wildflowers. And then maybe one more over here. What do you guys think? I know they're kind of all the same tone. I like used up everything on my other pack. This is where it gets interesting because I sit and fiddle with my flowers like forever. And I can't do that on air. I can't do it. So let's just stop with those and let's get a little bit of color on these so they're not so bright. I'm going to actually color that one brown. I'm just touching it with that color bloom that was left. And I think I'm going to go in here and add a bit of splashes. That's kind of light. So, oh, what color is that? There we go. Get some of the darker, really bold brown. And just go ahead and finish this off. And then what I can do is distress my edges. I just ran the paintbrush, thin out the brown a little bit, and kind of run it on the edges. You don't want a line to show, so you can kind of blend it in or you can dab it once you get that darker color on the edge. And that will add a really nice contrast and kind of finish the piece off. Oh, I like that dark brown. There we go. I need a little bit more up here. See how it's kind of just blending in because it was wet, so as I add it to the top, it's just kind of working its way down. There we go. I think that looks like I see brush marks and I don't like that. So what I do to fix that is squirt a little bit of water, let it run around, and then dab up some of it. And that's how you can kind of get rid of those brush marks. Okay, we want it to look random. So how'd we do? This is going to be tied on the back, and then we can tie some twine up here. And I think I had 5 flowers on the other one. I'm still debating. What do you guys think? Does it need a couple more? You think so? If so, I know, and they're all the same color and I didn't want that. How about a little butterfly? Okay, we might do that. We might stick a butterfly on this one instead of all those flowers. All right, so there, that's what you would do. Make it your own. Have fun with it. And then just watercolor away. So that one little tablet pad of paper is going to give you 24 different tags, and then you can do whatever you want. Put some mechanicals on it, color your ribbon, tuck in a couple flowers, and then just do any color scheme that you want, from cool to the warm tones. All right, so today we use the Christine Adolph stamps, her floral stamps. We played with a ton of the Color Bloom sprays. A lot of them were the brand new Color Bloom 2, and those are limited edition. And then we threw in some flowers, mechanicals, and other pieces just to finish off and give you a cute project. And then look for this one. I'll be posting this one online. I cut the flowers out, added some paste. I used a paintable pad. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to pop it out. You can color these any color you want. And then this design shows through. Popped up the flowers, and I used a little bit of gel and beads. Kind of the exact same techniques, and then added a little bit to it. Okay, so I think that's it. Don't forget, we're going to be doing Facebook Live every Tuesday. The whole month of March, we're doing Color Madness. So we have lots of stuff going on. Tomorrow we'll have more Color Bloom ideas on the blog, and I know on Thursday we have a Live with Prima video that's going to be coming out from Robbie with different ideas for Color Bloom too. So I know it's a bit of a mess here, but hopefully we had a bit of fun, and you guys learned some new ideas or tips and techniques and shared them with each other. And I just want to thank you guys for joining in, and I'm going to wrap it up if there are no more questions. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Catch all the other stuff we're doing with Color with Prima on our social media. Okay, bye-bye.